Did we lose you?
I think we lost her. Did we lose you?
I think we might have.
Has anybody else on the panel has experienced something like similar what she was talking about versus what I said about he was hard on my boys and they despised him later on as adults. And then my daughter, he coddled. And she when they got to, because of COVID, when they got to live together by themselves, just my ex and his child, she got to see a different daddy, and she wound up turning on him. And then I'm the more disciplinary, and she didn't like me as she was growing up, but now she sees different. Um, is that a part of enabling a child early on in their life versus when they get older? Because now she's depending on him, and just things are not working out because now she used to be the daddy's girl, but now she's the daddy's terror in a sense. And it's like he doesn't know how to control it, or should he be able to control it? I personally think once a child is an adult and you defy me as an adult, it's time for you to go.
Chocolate Pearl. Mine's a little different. I have two daughters as well. And when they were younger, they wanted their daddy. They wanted to be daddy's little girl, and they didn't have time for them. Now that they are adults, they call them, they want to be around them. But now it's like, you wasn't there for us when we were younger. We don't need you now. Mama has did it all for us. So they don't like, I still tell them, like, call and tell them Happy Father's Day, call them and tell them Happy Birthday and stuff like that. And they were like, what for, Mom? They don't call us. So I find myself still trying to make them have a bond with their dad. Because when I was growing up, my daddy was there 100%, my mom and dad. So I kind of beat myself up because my girls didn't have their father like I did. So I do like double the work. I still do it from time to time just because their father was absent from their life.
Oh, it's similar. This is the opposite in a sense.
Right.
Is that because we enabled our child? We treated them certain ways. Like you treated your daughters a certain way versus their father. And did that cause a certain effect of their child? I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I just noticed that when one parent does one thing and another parent does another, it kind of has a child wind up picking sides.
They pick no side. They always come to me first. It's always me. And then I'll say, well, I'm in Virginia. Your daddy right there in Georgia with y'all. Call your dad. Well, Chelsea, the oldest, she'll be 30 in January. She's super independent. When she got behind, like on her car note, I never knew. The girl went and got another job just to catch up. Nina, the baby, she'll be 24 next month. She'll call me quick. She'll call me crying in a panic, and I'll do it for her. And I was like, well, Nina, call your dad. Your dad is right there. She won't even call her daddy. What can I do, Nina? I'm in Virginia. And she goes into this race. Sometimes I beat myself up because I was like, did I move away too soon? Because I left Georgia right at the time she was still in college. So I was like, did I move too fast? But she graduated college. She got a job, a good paying job, but I still beat myself up like, did I move too quickly and not kind of help her get into fully the adulthood? Sometimes I beat myself up, and I still think about that from time to time.
I Justin looks like he wants to say something. Let
Yeah.
me say something real
Yeah.
quick to her.
Go ahead, Pearl.
No, don't beat yourself up for that. No. Do not beat yourself up for that. And the reason why I say that, that allowed your child to grow up, at
Yeah.
least try to. When my sister and I were talking about that earlier before, that once we become parents, we tend to do certain things when they're close to us. But if we do not allow our children to grow up on their own and learn their own mistakes, have their own mistakes, yeah,
Yeah.
you want to as a parent give them information or advise them of what you did, hopes
Mhm.
that they won't do it too, but you still have to allow them. And let me tell you a story real quick. My oldest son, he went into the military, and when he went up and did the reserves portion, he decided he wanted to be a man.
Right.
And he moved out and he moved to Greenville. And from Columbia to Greenville, that's about almost a 2-hour drive.
Hmm.
He moved there, didn't know nobody but one of his good school buddies. He moved in with the school buddy with no job, no car, no nothing. Long story short, things happened. Him and his friend that was in an apartment with another guy, they were giving the rent to the guy to pay the rent. The guy never paid the rent.
Oh,
And when they
good.
got home, because they worked midnight, so when they got home the next morning,
Hmm.
their stuff was on the street
Oh, Lord.
because the person didn't pay the rent. Now,
Mm-hmm.
me as an adult, excuse me, as a parent, I wanted so badly, come home, son. But I didn't do that. And the reason why I didn't do that, because I needed for him to learn how to get out of situations like this. So
Right.
she's homeless for about 2 months. I told him, son, what your best bet to do is, since you are living in your friend's car with him, y'all go to the truck stop, take you a shower, go to
Hmm.
McDonald's, stay on the dollar meal. And do you know, to this day, he's 33 years old. He's an engineer. He does contracts for a construction. He just built his own home. He didn't buy it used, and
Right.
he's 33 years old.
That's a blessing.
Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I did not tell him to come home or beg him to come home or even offer the door is open. He always knew that the door was open.
Right.
But because I didn't do that, it allowed him to say, I will never want to be homeless again. And
Hmm.
if I ever get to that situation, I know how to get out of it, or I know how to prevent from getting to that. Same thing with my middle child that lives here in Florida with me. Well, not with me, but here in Florida. He seen what happened with his brother, and he never wanted that to happen to him.
Right.
So what he did, he had a house built before he turned 30. A 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 3-car garage type situation, and he owns his own business. To allow you, and he's been through, unfortunately, 3 marriages, but you have to allow him or them to learn on their own. If we keep coddling them and saving them, now Justin and I talked a little earlier, something similar to that. You can help your children, but you can't always be their savior, because they need to learn how to get out of it. They need to learn how to grow up. And when they get into situations, they need to know how to get out on their own. So because you did move away, believe it or not, you allowing your child to do certain things on her own. And unfortunately, she does come to you when it's too late.
Yeah. And they are growing, learning. And like I said, the oldest one is very independent. It's the baby. And she is 4 because it's always just been the 3 of us. So I think it's a little bit of
Anymore.
me
Miss Kimberly though,
listening. Huh?
how old is your youngest? You
She'll
said
be
24.
24 next month.
So I guess from an outside perspective, right? I agree with what Pearl said. You can't beat yourself up over them always coming to you and you wanting to help and then feeling guilty. Um, because again, it's not your fault. You did your job.
Yeah.
You gave them every tool. They graduated college. Like that in
Hmm.
itself is an achievement that you have to praise.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of now and then beating yourself up over moving away is insane. We are talking about like um
I
God,
guess I'm going through the empty nest kind of syndrome because, like I said, it was just
that
the three of us, and
and now it's
then
just you.
yeah, and it's just me, and there's no family around, and I kind of
Yeah.
get lonesome.
Well, that's what they make young guys for. You just go pick one of
No,
them
he has
up,
me. Look,
borrow him
no,
for the
he
weekend,
does
and then
have
send
me.
his ass on out.
You hear me? She
Yeah.
does have me. And one thing I'll
Oh,
say
Okay, let
is
me be.
she has me, and on the opposite end, I have the one who's 24 who's still in my household, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So the only thing we require her to buy in this house. So I work for social services, right? And so under the previous social service department that I worked at, I was able to get my dog my 20 at 20, I was able to get her a job, right? So she had a career. She graduated college last year. She has a fat bank account because she still lives in my household, right? And we
Yeah.
only require her to buy toilet paper. Okay.
Oof.
That's it. And she does a
Um,
bad job at that at times. So we have to sit around and
Especially a
buy it and
bad
figure
job.
yeah,
out.
you gotta. If I could
Right,
get,
right,
I
right.
guess.
And
Ooh, that's a tough one because like
right, right. And so she has, but we
that's
wanted her to be in
enabling
a,
at its finest because the
it
detriment of
really
like,
is. But what we wanted is, and you have to realize my husband's retired military. So it's like
mhm,
100% VA disabled. So it wasn't that we
oh,
wanted anything for our mortgage. Like that pays
mhm,
our mortgage, we both make over six figures. So what I wanted for her was for her to be able to buy her own house when she started out. Move your friends
yeah,
in, let them pay your mortgage, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm noticing about her is I've moved on from the job that I helped her get into, and I was like a program manager there. I moved on from that and moved into another job. And so I'm like, okay, now you've graduated college, it's time for you to move on. She's content and complacent is what I have noticed, right? And so I
Yeah.
noticed, like there's no plans for her to move out. So I'm like, hey, and every so often I'm like, hey, where you at? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what? Hey, you need to buy your own house. And it's like, I don't want to, because I don't want to upkeep the yard. But at this point in my mind, I'm
Oh.
like, you're going to be 24 next week. It's time for you to go and grow.
So you're still married, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, still married.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, have like with your husband, have you guys had that hard like again as a dad and my little girl, like yes, I would love my little daughter to never leave my house. Is that the reality? No, no, no. I don't think my wife would even allow that. Have
Mhm.
you guys had that? You and your husband had the hard conversation of she's not motivated. We've got to set the motivation. Like, hey, you get 90 days. You don't pay us nothing. Every cent that you save for the next 90 days, and it doesn't have to be a house. Show her the options along, like, I'm not saying be brutal, but like, show her, hey, condominiums, they'll take care of the grass. They'll do the
Right,
maintenance. The only
right.
thing you'll have to worry about is anything inside your building, your washer, your dryer. And then she could be a homeowner as a young 24-year-old adult woman. That's the thing. It's like like 18, 19, 20, you're in college. I'm all for. My dad, again, helped me when I was homeless from basically 19
Mhm.
till about 20 and a half. Bouncing and I say homeless, but it was just teen college couch surfing. I wasn't in school. I had actually applied for the Navy. I had taken my ASVAB. I had done the physicals. I got myself in extremely good shape doing mixed martial arts.
Mhm.
And then I got blessed. My father opened up one opportunity and it worked like this is back to the discipline thing. I will allow you to be in my home under one circumstance is you complete college and after that, you get 90 days to move the hell out of my place. But you will be a college graduate. You will not pay me rent. And after that point, I never looked back. I have never lived with my parents again. My wife and I own a beautiful home. And that hard conversation, and again, it was, I'm a big burly guy. I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude. The tears that were flowed with that hard conversation of you've got to do this, or you're going to end up in a place that you don't want to be. And statistically, it would have been prison, more than like, or
Right.
hopefully not in prison and in the military. Um,
Right.
my dad isn't anti-military. It was just a path that he never wanted for me. I have always been pro-military. You can ask Pearl. I love my military guys. They will always have a spot in my heart. Like I'll help out any military possible. But it sounds like you're allowing your daughter to kind of, I guess, rule the roost without putting up anything or any like putting any skin in the game. Like you got
You
her the
know,
job.
it's funny that you say that though, because I do agree with some of that. Like, but at the same time, like I know I'm like, you're gonna have to start paying